The man who was always ready. Rohan was known among his friends as someone who always planned everything carefully. He never rushed into decisions, never spoke without thinking, and never took a step unless he felt completely prepared. At first, people admired this about him. They thought he was disciplined, focused, and wise. But over time, something strange became clear. Rohan was always preparing, but he was never actually starting. After finishing his studies, Rohan decided he wanted a better job. He knew his English needed improvement, so he began watching videos, reading articles, and writing notes every day. He created a perfect routine. Every morning, he would sit with his notebook and write down what he needed to learn. Grammar rules, new vocabulary, speaking tips, everything was organized. Weeks turned into months, and months slowly turned into years, but Rohan still hadn't applied for a single job. Whenever someone asked him, he would say, "I'm still preparing. I want to be fully ready first." It sounded reasonable. Even he believed it. After all, no one wants to fail because they weren't ready, right? One day, his close friend Arif called him with an opportunity. "There's a job opening at my company," Arif said. "It's not perfect, but it's a good start. You should apply." Rohan felt his heart race. This was exactly what he had been preparing for. But instead of feeling excited, he felt uncomfortable. "Maybe not now," he replied. "I still need more practice." There was a short silence on the phone, then Arif said something that stayed with him. "You've been saying that for a long time." That night, Rohan couldn't focus on anything. He opened his old notebooks, one after another. Page after page was filled with plans, ideas, and lessons. Everything looked perfect, except for one thing: there was no action. For the first time, he didn't feel proud of his preparation. He felt something heavier. A quiet regret. He closed the notebook and looked around his room. Nothing had changed in years. The same desk. The same routine. The same excuses. The next morning, he stood in front of the mirror for a long time. He didn't recognize the person looking back at him, not because he had changed, but because he hadn't changed at all. Later that week, he met Arif again. But something was different this time. Arif seemed more confident, more relaxed. "Did you get that job?" Rohan asked. Arif shook his head. "No, I didn't." Rohan was confused. "Then why do you look so satisfied?" Arif smiled and said, "Because I finally stopped waiting to feel ready." That sentence stayed in Rohan's mind long after they parted ways. That night, instead of opening another lesson, Rohan sat quietly in his room. He replayed the past few years in his head. All the time he had spent learning, planning, improving, but never trying. And then, a simple but uncomfortable truth came to him. He wasn't afraid of failing. He was afraid of being seen trying and failing. The next morning, something changed. He didn't create a plan. He didn't make a schedule. He simply opened a job website and started applying. His hands were shaking as he filled out the forms. His English wasn't perfect, and he knew it. But for the first time, he didn't wait to fix everything. He clicked submit. It was a small action, but it felt bigger than anything he had done in years. A few days later, he got a call for an interview. His first instinct was to say no. The old fear returned. "I'm not ready," his mind told him. But this time, he didn't listen. He went. The interview was not perfect. He made mistakes. He forgot words. There were moments of silence where he didn't know what to say. But he stayed. He answered. He tried. A week later, he got the result. He didn't get the job. For a moment, the old feeling returned. The disappointment, the doubt. But something felt different this time. He wasn't ashamed. He wasn't stuck. He had finally moved. And that changed everything. From that day, Rohan kept going. He applied for more jobs, attended more interviews, and slowly became more confident. His English improved naturally, not because he kept preparing, but because he was finally using it. Months later, he received another call. This time, he got the job. IT wasn't perfect. It wasn't his dream job, but it was real. It was a beginning on his first day at work. As he sat at his desk, he realized something important. All those years, he thought he needed confidence to start, but in reality, he needed to start to build confidence. That evening, he opened his notebook again. But instead of writing another plan, he wrote just one sentence. Done is better than ready.